faithfulness is true to God's form. We think about the promises that he made. He promised Adam and Eve, you will have a seed that will conquer the serpent. He promised Abraham, you will have a son that will be a blessing to the nations. He promised Abraham, I will guide you to the holy mountain. And he did. I will guide you to the promised land. And he did. I will guide you by a pillar of fire and by a pillar of cloud. And he did. God was faithful. He said to David, I will give you a son. You will always have a child seated on the throne. And he did. And it is Jesus. And he said to Jesus, I will not let you stay in the grave. I will raise you up from the dead. He is risen. This is a promise that God kept, and he also said, I will not leave you alone when I depart. I will send to you my Spirit. And the Spirit of God dwells within us. There are markers all throughout the map of God, of his faithfulness, for the Old Testament people, the New Testament people, and you people, and me too. Our God is faithful. It is true to form. So look at the map. Where has he showed up in your life? And some of you are saying, I haven't seen it. Look at this map then. This map is your map too. This map is your map too. Jesus came for you. Jesus came for me. But there are stories even in this very room where if you look at the map, you will see God has showed up. We had testimonies from Jim. We had testimonies from Jesse when he sat on a panel. We had testimony from Terry. All throughout this church, we had testimony of people, of Peter, where God showed up in their lives. So if you're like, he hasn't showed up for me, he did. Every time someone stood up and declared, that story was for you too. Every time you read the scripture, that was for you too. And maybe the thing you're waiting for him to be faithful in right now is not something he promised. Or maybe it's something that is yet to come. But our God is faithful. And we're looking everywhere else for wholeness and completion. What we got to do is we got to look at the map. Regularly review the map. Because his faithfulness is everywhere. We meet on Easter Sunday to remember that God raised his son from the dead. That is public truth. That is good news for all. He is faithful. Look at your map. Share your map with someone else. Tell these stories of the luggage that God found for you, of the prayer that God answered, of the job situation that he worked out for you. Regularly review the map.